And who knows? Maybe in freaking 3 weeks from now, I'm not here. All right. But the thing is, I'm going to make decisions. When something happens, I'm going to make a decision. I'm not going to just sit there and just let life happen to me. I refuse to do that because it doesn't make any sense. I deserve better. I deserve to have the control, at least to be like people out there who are talking about, oh, the government can't make me do this. Government can't make me do that. But you sure as hell control yourself and put yourself in a box and don't allow yourself to grow. Like you don't give yourself freedom. Like you have to do things. You got to make actions. And that it's a lot more about action than it is about words. A lot more. And if you aren't doing that, then you lost it. And you got to take a reset. And you got to say to yourself, hey, you know what? I'm willing to spend a couple $1,000s to get a freaking life coach because I'm not where I want to be right here. And who knows if it's supposed to be exactly what I thought it was be more. But if it's going to bring me value, then let me just go ahead and sign up for it. You know what? And if I lose a couple $1,000s off of it, you know what? I got a learning experience from it, one, and I'm going to make that money back. I'm going to make that money back tenfold because I learned something from that. I'm investing in myself. If you invest in yourself, it's not a bad investment. If you're investing in yourself, it is not a bad investment because I count on me. Like I know that I'm going to win. No matter what, I'm going to win. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I thank God for my ability to be able to be smart. Yeah, I thank God for my ability to, to have a family. I thank God for my ability to be able to have my physical, well-being and whatnot. But regardless of what happens, I'm going to figure it out. Because that's a decision that I'm making every single day, that I'm not going to just stop. I'm not going to be submissive to an idea that this is not for me. I don't have imposter syndrome. I truly believe that I deserve to be where I am. And everybody, I don't know if everybody does this, but I know that when I was. What's up? How are you guys doing?
And now we're live. Hey.
All right, we love it. All right, man. So it is 6:01 today. Happy Monday to everybody. Today is June 6th. Today is D-Day. I understand that this is where the Rangers of 2nd Ranger Battalion scaled the cliffs of Pointe du Hoc and Omaha Beach, and that's where my lineage comes from, man. Super excited that to be able to be part of that, but I'm super excited to be here today talking about something that's pretty important. I'm glad that we're here to talk about it. So how you doing today, Greg?
Doing well, man. It's a good Monday. Had a great weekend with the wife at home. Obviously, Memorial Day last weekend was nice, and just paying homage to that as well. But got to celebrate our boy Logan getting married too, which was fun. And so we're taking over here CGN while Logan's gone and keeping the shit straight.
One of my favorite things about CGN is action oriented, ask for forgiveness, not permission. So there'll be a lot of that going on today. But today is a very important and big call. All right, it's a very important and big conversation because the busy season is upon us. Even if it's not necessarily busy when it comes to the ideas of I'm running like a madman with my, like a chicken with my head cut off. There's a certain bit of franticness of where I'm going to find my next job, or I'm so booked out, or some people are calling me, whatever it may be, but you are upon this busy season. Mm-hmm. And what happens oftentimes is if we fail to plan, we plan to fail, right? So it's important for us to actually have that understanding today. So today we talk about something very important, how we are able to establish our systems now so we're able to take on the busy season in a way that becomes a lot more manageable.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like operating, setting yourself up to operate, I wouldn't say autopilot, but to kind of have that reliance and fall back on that. Okay, this is what I do on a regular basis, so it's just do it. You don't need to think about it. It's like the Steve Jobs thing of wears the same clothes every day because you just want to think about it. It's just there. That's what we're talking about with systems and having a process and having a plan in place.
And setting that baseline standard. All right, so that's super important. So today, what I want to do right now is if you're coming in live, go ahead and give me a hashtag live. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and give me a hashtag replay. We've had so many people go forward with Wealth Builder recently. I haven't done a good job of kind of announcing those people and shouting them out. So I actually asked Adrian to do me a favor and shoot me a message over the last 12 people that went forward. And so here we got Ryan Terry from Absolute Best Painting.
They are, if I remember correctly, I believe they're in Colorado. We have Caleb Bray from Classic Construction. We have Jacob, Justin Sturgill from Incline Landscaping, also in Colorado. We got Conrad from Durham Painting. Oh gosh, right now it's escaping me exactly where they are right now. Ricardo Salazar, he's in Florida.
Oh, Conrad's here, dude. He's gonna call you out.
Love that, Conrad. I apologize about that, man. I'll know better. All right, we had Crosby and Company, Riley Crosby. They're in Arizona. We got Kevin Cordova, River City Construction. They are in Boston, Massachusetts. We have Ed Day. He is in Kentucky, I believe. I believe he's in like a Lexington area. We have Svat, who is Wise Choice Construction. Once again, that's escaping me exactly where they're located at. We got Derek Boutin, and Motown Fire. They are, gosh, I feel bad. I think actually Motown is easy. That's Detroit. They're in the Detroit area. And then we got Scott Bates, Grassroots Pond and Garden. Just shout out to all you guys. Super excited to have you guys here. Conrad, Oklahoma. I do apologize. I remember you told me that you're in between. I think you said it's like between like Lawton and like Oklahoma City. So, man,
It's coming back.
Yeah, it's coming back to me now. But I'm super excited to have you guys here.
New legacy maker, Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson on here live.
Yeah, love that. Legacy maker as well. So,
Yep.
I love having you guys here, part of the family, but let's make sure we, get to it. So today, what I really want to talk about is, do you have a marketing mission and a marketing strategy? At the end of this call, I will guarantee that you will have the baseline for a marketing mission and a marketing strategy, which will allow for you to navigate this busy season a lot more effectively. So that's my promise to you on this call. All right, we'll go through a lot of different things today, but today we're talking about, do you have a marketing mission and a marketing strategy?
So when you say marketing mission, I've heard of a mission statement. I know missions, but what do you mean when you say marketing mission?
Okay, pretty simple. A marketing mission is, what is the goal of your marketing? That is specific to what your overall mission is. Right? So let's just think about it for a second. My phone's acting up. Think about it for a second. If right now in the chat box, let me know what your goal is for the year. And I'm asking that question kind of vaguely.
Yeah.
On purpose, because it may be different things for different people. It may be establish myself do I have 3 crews running? Maybe it's I want to break $1 million for the first time. Maybe it's I want to be able to charge this gross profit margin on doing this many jobs. It doesn't necessarily matter, but I want to hear from you guys right now. What is your goal for this year? And you may have multiple goals, which is fine. But I want you right now, the one that readily comes to your head, write down in the chat box, what is your goal for this year? All right? Most oftentimes I talk to people, first thing that comes to mind is a revenue goal.
Yep.
Honestly, it's that revenue goal has to be tied to something, right? So I saw here, Steven says he wants to do 100K. In my mind, it goes to, okay, what's that tied to? First and foremost, is that 100K in your pocket, or is that 100K just overall gross revenue the company does? Because if we tied that back to something, maybe he says, maybe with 100K revenue, I'm looking to do at least, I don't know, let's say 25% net, so that the business has $25,000 in the business bank account by the end of the year. If that's his goal, that's fine. Can we accomplish that other ways than just hitting 100? Yes, we can, but that's perfectly fine. But what is your goal for this year?
Yeah, and I know you ask that question probably on every call that you get on with contractors. And Tyler, I know you jumped on the Legacy Maker here in the past couple of weeks. I know I asked you what's your goal, and then got a number, which is a revenue number, and then I ask why. What is that? Because you just like you said, what is that tied to? It's like if someone asking me, hey, why are you working out? Well, if I just said, I just want to stay in shape, that doesn't get me out of bed in the morning. It's, no, I want to place top 5 at the next triathlon that I do. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. So there has to be that why that ties, it has to be that kind of emotional response that ties you to what's going to keep you accountable, what's going to keep you not just motivated, but going to get you more actions to take those steps.
100%. And when you think about it from a marketing standpoint, if I may say that, hey, my marketing mission is to be able to collect, attract and collect information on 25, potential leads within, let's say a 6-month period of time that have the ability to spend $45,000 that are looking to do, for my services within my service area, right?
That sounds more specific, right?
Yeah,
Because that's kind of like that SMART goal. You assign some measurable actions, you put some data behind it so you can track and trend it and be able to understand, am I hitting this or am I not hitting this? And be able to make adjustments.
If I remember correctly with Derek, I think when we talked with Derek, his marketing mission was along the lines of, I want to attract enough people that I can have enough work coming in so that I can step away from doing sub jobs. Right? So, you have to have an actual mission. What's the actual goal that I want my marketing to be, producing for me? Right? So, it's super important. Hiring a crew, hire an office manager and hire, train a technician. Okay, that's great. So, if I want to be able to say, if I want to use my marketing to help my overall goal, is I may say, hey, I want to be able to generate enough work that sets aside this much either money or whatever it may be, or I can be able to fulfill and have enough work so that someone can actually take care of this work for a office manager or be able to train a technician, whatever it may be. But I need to actually have a marketing goal. All right, so let's talk about what that marketing mission can kind of look like.
Okay.
All right, so what things, we talked about this a little bit earlier today, but what things are important to consider when you're making a marketing mission?
There's some basics that you want to get down. One, does it align with your ultimate goal? So, hire a crew. Okay, how are you going to hire a crew? We need
how's your marketing? How's your marketing?
How's it go down the line and get to the first step in the business, which is marketing? So, okay, for me, what comes to mind is, do I know who my ideal client is?
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Do I know who my ideal client is? All right, so this is something that we hopefully have all kind of taken care of and covered, but I know that it escapes some people. So let's spend some time really quickly on that. All right, right now in the chat box, let's all get this on the same page together. Type out your favorite client of all time. The person, if you could clone that person, you would. Because our goal right now is, if we want to be able to attract, because what is marketing? Marketing is just attracting, is getting your name out there and getting in front of people. That's what marketing is. That's what marketing yourself is. So if I want to attract my ideal client, I need to know who my ideal client is so that I'm not attracting the wrong person. Mm-hmm. So right now in the chat box, write down just the name of your favorite client of all time. That person that if you could clone that person, you would, that you love working with. Let's write down that person's name. Because if I want to attract my ideal client, I need to first know who that is. All right, so I got Bird Lady. I'm not sure who that is, Josh, but it sounds pretty specific. All right, so who else we got, guys? Who is your ideal client? All right, put it in the chat box, because if you're not actually, Marta, I've heard Andrew say that several times. I appreciate that being consistent in that way. Who else we got, guys? Who is your ideal client?
Who's yours?
Who's my ideal client? My favorite client?
Yes.
I would say, candidly, probably someone like Rich Lee. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because, so best friend who's a client's probably Chris Treese, just because we have a good relationship in that way. And then probably also TJ is up there too. Me and TJ are really good friends. I love Bubba a lot. I advocate for Bubba every chance I get because he's a Memphis guy and I'm a Memphis guy, and I just love that about him. And all those guys are really good people, but I think that when it comes to certain sense of ideal client, it may go to Rich Lee because of the fact that there's a certain bit of he's got, I guess, just trust in us, right? So there's that trust piece that's there. It's pretty easy to talk to him about different opportunities he has in his business to grow. He's growth minded. So he's not so going from 25.50 to 35.50 a month, it doesn't seem to phase him in that way. To be able to seize a lot of his ups and downs and things like that too. He's open to that. He already had an established business beforehand. And I like that about him. I will also say people like Andrew Pellick, I absolutely love. Now, straightforward, we had Andrew came and had some questions for us, and we had to solve those questions for him to build that trust. But now that we have that trust, it's there, and I appreciate that. So probably out of sense of ease, it's probably someone like Rich Lee. And I will tell you why they're my ideal client, because I want you guys to think about the same situation, like why this person is my ideal client. Well, one, Rich Lee trusts us. He trusts us. He communicates with us. It's fun to be around him. It's fun to be able to talk about not only business, but life things as well. It's cool in that way. He's open to helping us out. He's also open to being helped and helping others as well. He's in Pacifica, and he says, hey, I don't want to be doing work inside the San Francisco area. We have a client that's in San Francisco that was looking to do only San Francisco work. So being able to say, hey, Rich, do you mind if I connect you with this person so you can have that conversation? It's pretty easy in that way.
Agreed.
He shows up to the coaching to be coached, and also is willing to help out. The other day, he reached out to me and said, hey, I got a great role play with Greg, and I think it really did some awesome stuff. So, I love that about him, right? But one thing I will say that if we go down pretty much anybody's ideal client, you normally have three things that come to mind. One, they trust you. There's trust that has been built. They followed my process. They didn't beat me up over my price. They really saw my value. But their biggest thing is they trusted you. All right. Most often than not, I'm hearing from people, their ideal client is somebody that trusts them. And that's important to remember, because we're going to go back to this for a second. The second part about that is they were willing to pay their price. They generally didn't beat them up over the price. Maybe it was a couple of different questions when it came to price, because we all want to understand we're not making the wrong decision, not being taken advantage of. But for the most part, I'm hearing from people that the price is just kind of like, we understand that.
They understand the value.
Yeah, understand the value, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so the next part to that, is they're willing to follow that person's process. They let me lead this thing. They weren't saying, hey, you need to do this, hey, you need to do that. They saw your value, right? They saw your value. They saw who you were, which also probably comes back to trust. If they want to follow your process, it goes back to trust.
Yeah, they see you as a leader in your space. They're not going to tell you how to paint that wall because they know that you are the expert in that.
Exactly, exactly. So now, going back to it, if we understand, we've established who our ideal client is, and our goal is to attract more of those ideal clients, we have to be thinking to ourselves on a consistent basis, what am I doing right now to instill more trust? All right, this is going to go into strategy a little bit, but let's really focus right now first on the marketing mission. All right, so I want to attract more of my ideal clients. So for you right now, let's imagine you're looking to do $1 million this year. For easy math, let's imagine your marketing mission is you want to be doing jobs on average around $50,000 a year. All right, so that means on average about 20 jobs you're going to be doing this year so that you actually accomplish your actual goal. So if you're doing 20 jobs in a year, how many leads do you feel like now? This is independent, and this is specific to you, who you are, how your system is actually built for your own business. Mm-hmm. Some people need a whole bunch of leads because of their process.
The nature of it, yeah.
Yeah. Some people need very few leads. But for you, let's imagine you're looking to do $50,000 jobs on average, hit $1 million this year. How many leads do you feel like, just imagine, just your unique scenario?
Well, I can just talk from experience because I asked these questions on onboarding, is more along the lines of like what your close rate is. Mm-hmm. I think a good industry standard is around 20%.
Okay.
So I would need 100 leads to hit 20 jobs.
Okay, 100 leads. All right, so think about that for a second. So now, if I know that my mission is to get leads and to make it a lead, I want to be able to not only get them attracted to me, but also get their contact information for 100 unique people. All right. What qualifications do I want those 100 unique people to all have?
Those 100 people, one, need to be in the location that I service, like geographic location.
Okay, let's ask the chat box as well. I love that one, geographic location. So if I'm talking about, and you asked the question because I think you can articulate exactly what I'm trying to ask in the chat box. So ask the question to the chat box.
What are the, I guess, the basic, I don't want to say functions, but basic characteristics of, if you had 100 leads that need to come in, what are the basic characteristics of those individuals? Like what needs to happen, or what do they need to be in order for them to be a legitimate lead for you?
Yeah, exactly.
That wasn't very articulate. I apologize.
No, it's fine. But it's pretty simple though, right? So if I need 100 people, I need to be able to get contact information for 100 people that, all right, that are within my geographic service location.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else about them?
Are they okay? So they homeowners, like, let's say I'm a residential contractor. So, do they have a service that I provide? Are they in need of a service that
exactly? So, are they in my location? Are they searching for something that I actually provide?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, maybe they have
a demographic.
Yeah, a certain amount of disposable income.
Mm-hmm.
That it would make sense for them working with us.
Yeah.
So maybe those are just my three. And you can make a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe those are my three. They got to be in my area. They've got to want my service. And they have to be able to pay my price. They have to be able to have enough discretionary income to buy my product, buy my service. All right?
Yeah.
And I want to find 100 of those people.
I'm just curious. Does anyone have anything to add to that? Like, we're kind of spitballing here, but I'm curious if anyone else in the chat box, like, is there anything else that you can think of that those 100 people need to have this certain characteristic?
Okay, so listen to this real quick. In the chat box, for you guys specifically, outside of them being in your area, outside of them needing your product and service, and outside of them having the discretionary income to pay your pricing, what other characteristic, maybe, infographics, demographics, would you want your customer to have, and this theoretical 100 people to have, so that you feel like they're willing to follow your process? Okay, I love that. All right, so they're willing to follow my process. All right, and we'll talk about how we could actually get that stuff to actually happen. Mm-hmm. Right, so if we say this is what our goal is, we need 100 people that are in our service area, that can pay our price, and that can and that want our service, are willing to follow our process. I'm going to say that again. Love that. We got those three things. Now I need to talk about my marketing strategy. I've established what my mission is. My mission, so let's just make it very clear. My mission is to attract and collect information from 100 people over the next 12 months that are looking for my service, that have the ability to pay my price, and that are in my service location.
Sounds like a good mission.
Okay, if that's my marketing mission, right? And I'll be able to write that down. Hey, my mission is to attract and collect information from. Now, why did I not just say attract? Why did I say collect information from?
Because there's an aspect of sales that's nurturing. And if you have their information, there's an ability to nurture through that process.
100%. They may not be looking to buy today. Mm-hmm. It also adds a certain level to, hey, I didn't have just leads come in, but I able to collect information as well. So I have like a next step that I'm actually looking to try to make sure I aspire to. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, I think a good example of this, I live it every day, is looking at like sending direct mail out to people that were a lead at one point, for whatever reason, maybe didn't go forward with the project, but hey, you collected information on them. You can still continue to get in front of those people. So if the timing wasn't right then, maybe it is down the road. And so you're saying top of mind that way.
100%. All right, so I've now got my mission. My mission is to collect or is to attract and collect information and demographic information from 100 people in my service area that have this much discretionary money and they are looking to buy my service. All right, now that I've established that, I've got to have a strategy. I've got to have a strategy. Right now, scale 1 to 10. If you're doing this live, I want to hear it from you live. If you're doing a replay, I want to hear you doing it replay as well. Scale 1 to 10. How dialed in do you have your marketing mission? 1, Chris, I had no idea of a marketing mission at all, and I still don't have a clear understanding what that is. 10, Chris, yeah, before you even talk about this stuff, I knew exactly what it was, and I've already have mine kind of written down, and it's established in my business. The scale 1 to 10, where are you as far as having a marketing mission? Because we're going to build on top of this to actually go down to the actual strategy. So Ben says 4. All right, what else we got? All right, where are we at scale 1 to 10? And the thing is this, we have to have a certain amount of willingness to actually put the information out there. All right, so Steven says 1. Andrew says 5 to 6. All right.
I'm going to catch you off guard here. What do you think CGN's is?
Our marketing mission or our scale 1 to 10?
Mission, 1 to 10.
8, 9. I mean, I know it.
You know.
Yeah, I know it has to happen. I know realistically we're looking to do 10 to 12 wealth builders every single month. So we need to be able to get in front of the close rate of 25%. We need to be getting in front of 48 people realistically every single month that are able to do X, Y, and Z. Now the strategy is where we kind of like go back and forth on, but it's pretty simple in that way. And then also be able to convert and take care of realistically 33% of our overall clientele when it comes to Legacy Maker, because we were able to provide and do marketing services for them, which aligns with their actual strategy. So I'd say probably 8 or 9 when it comes to CGN.
I agree.
All right,
Cool.
So I got 1, I got a 2, I got a 7, and I appreciate you guys just being open and transparent here because this is important. So now that we got this information, now that we got this actual mission, let's talk about the actual strategy. All right, so do me a favor real quick. Read that mission. I think you wrote it down, did you not?
Yeah, said attract 100 people that are willing to pay my price point, are in my service area, and are in need or wanting my services.
And you said attract, but also attract and collect information from. Because
Apologize.
Because I want to make sure that that's my actual mission.
Yep.
All right, so now I've got to talk about my actual strategy. All right, let's hear from the chat box really quickly. If that's my goal, if that's my mission, what things can I be doing to get my 100 people, get the information, and those demographics you just talked about? What can be what's my strategy? Give me some ideas for strategy. All right, Greg, if you don't mind, just give me your idea when it comes to like what's your strategy thinking in that situation?
I know that people make purchases online, and so I definitely want a presence online. To me, that equates to, I Google everything before purchase. So basically playing nice with Google so I can be found online.
Okay.
That'd be my main marketing strategy.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that's my main, but that's a big piece of the pie.
And I'm going to challenge you on that portion of it if you're cool with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one thing that happens is that we all know we don't have just one strategy, right? It's not just one thing we're looking to do. It's a holistic strategy. My goal would be to think to myself, I'm going to break it down. First and foremost, I just got to get in front of these people. I got to find them and get in front of them. That's what I need to be doing. So I need to make sure that I'm well known to these people. I need to make sure that I'm well known to people who are looking for bathrooms or kitchens. I need to make sure I'm well known to people who present themselves as having a certain amount of discretionary income. And I need to make sure I'm well known to people that are in my service area. That's my first mind goes to. So that means that I need to be well known, and I can be well known in my mind in 2 different places. In real life, online. So offline or online. Now, if I break that down, the offline aspect of it is how can they know about me? They're either going to know about me offline because of they know me, Chris, or any of our employees. They're going to know, they're going to be a past customer, so they have worked with me beforehand. Or they're going to know a customer of mine. Or they're going to know someone else who is an influencer who can also give information about me as well. Because I want people, when someone is searching for a bathroom, someone is searching for a kitchen, I want my name to come up in that conversation. So, I have an offline strategy and an online strategy. My offline strategy is this. I'm going to make sure that I'm driving up and down the road in a wrapped truck. So people get to see me on a regular basis. When I'm driving to and from, when I'm driving in these neighborhoods, hopefully that I'm working on a consistent basis, they get to see my truck. Also, I understand that even though they get to see my truck when I'm on the job site, when I do not put a yard sign in front of their house, when I leave at 5 o'clock, 5:30 for the day, and they're walking their dog at 7 o'clock at night, my presence is not there. So I need to make sure that I have a yard sign as well, because I need to be seen. But once again, the goal here is not just to give someone a fish when it comes to this marketing strategy, but it's to teach them how to think. So I'm going to make sure that I'm there. The reason why is because if they see it, they're going to trust me. They're going to have that awareness and all that stuff as well. Yes, we're going to have branded shirts and all that good jazz as well. Then I'm also going to be part of a B&I group in a predominant area that I'm looking to work in. I don't necessarily have to live in Germantown, Tennessee, but if I know that my target area is in Germantown, Tennessee, which is a suburb of Memphis, then I'm going to be part of the Germantown, Tennessee B&I group, because I want to, once again, get my name out there to more people so that they can influence other people who are looking for this information as well. Then, once again, thinking in real life. If I'm building kitchens, I got to think to myself, I need 100 people that I'm looking to attract information from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a private chef come in. How much does our private chef cost when we do it in
$1,000 for 12 people or 10
okay,
people.
so it was $1,000 extra. We did a private chef in Scottsdale, Arizona, for Logan's bachelor party. So $1,000 extra, and they cleaned up everything. It was absolutely amazing. There was so many different dishes that they had. But I'm going to use that $1,000 on this $45,000 kitchen. I'm going to now make this kitchen $47,000. So I got $1,000 I got to spend there and an extra $1,000. So I'm making my 50% gross profit on it. Mm-hmm. So now my $45,000 kitchen goes to $47,000. But I spend $1,000 to make sure that I actually have a party for these people that bought this kitchen. I'm going to suggest that they get more of their friends and family to their kitchen so I can help celebrate that situation. So I can get in front of more people in that way as well. I'm also thinking about it from an online perspective as well. All of these people that I'm once again, I'm going to make sure that I'm documenting everything I'm doing. I'm documenting my process. I'm documenting the fact that I'm actually working, where I'm at, what kind of jobs I'm on, where I'm going to pick up supplies, who my employees are. I'm documenting all that stuff because I'm trying to get in front of all of these people on a consistent basis. Online, I'm going to get inside these Facebook groups to make sure I'm posting my stuff that's there. And that's my equivalent to my B&I online, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm getting in front of all these people this way. Additionally, all of my customers, I'm going to get a video testimonial from. The value from that is a couple of different reasons. One, I can put it online. I can put it online on my Facebook. I can have a YouTube channel and put it on my YouTube. I can put it on my website if I need to. But what seems most readily to me is this. I talked to Greg. Greg's not sure just yet if he's going to work with us. I'm going to do him, hey, you know what, man, so you're not blindsided by this. I'm actually going to send you over a testimony of one of our past customers. They're actually up the road from your house to be able to see a little bit of what our process looks like. And let that person do a lot of the selling for me. But I'm going to have this abundance of these project profiles that I'm doing that. But once again, all these strategic things that I'm doing are with the exact intent. I'm trying to find 100 people. I'm trying to find 100 people that can buy my services and that are looking for it. So if I get their name, email, phone number, I'm going to feel confident. If I have 100 people, I can get my 20 jobs. And so that's what I'm thinking about.
You had a much longer answer than I did. I was just
And we didn't even get to, and the thing is, SEO and online is super important too. Because if people are already searching for things or aspects of, hey, how to, upgrade my kitchen, kitchen remodeler near me, all those different things that they're searching for, if I can be one of the first people that shows up when they're searching for those things, it's going to benefit me in my pursuit. So SEO is super important. It's long-term. It's a long-term play and a short-term play. All right, so it's very important. It's very consistently and to invest, but I need to have a strategy. So if my strategy is this, if I simply just write it out, hey, I'm going to document every single day work that we do. I'm going to put that online, Facebook. That's strategy number 1. 2, I'm going to make sure every single time that we're driving, I get to be seen. So I'm going to have all my guys in branded clothing, and I'm also going to have my truck wrapped. That's part of my strategy, part of my marketing strategy. 3, on all jobs that I produce, I'm going to put out a yard sign, so even when I'm not there, people get to know who I am. Legitimately, I drive around Charlotte. I see Ram Construction all the time. I honestly don't know anyone personally who has got a house remodeled by Ram Construction, but they do a really good job of putting the information out there so that if I think of a construction company, at the very least, that one comes to my mind.
You recognize it now.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing those things. All right. I'm going to get a testimonial from all of my past customers in their space. I'm going to have a party or some type of event for all of my customers. Because once again, I'm trying to find that 100. So if I get 1 or 2 from that party, that's absolutely amazing. But I'm looking to find my 100 people. I'm going to be consistently posting online, getting inside of those Facebook groups, but I have a strategy. I'm not just waiting on someone to refer me out. Now, the greatest thing is, if you're doing a great job, you're going to get referrals, which helps out your 100, which honestly means that your 100 probably can become a lot less than that because your close rate on referrals is just innately going to be a lot higher. But what I'm looking to do consistently is have a strategy. What is my strategy moving forward for my marketing mission? I know my marketing mission. I need to find 100 people, get their information that are in my service area, they're looking for what I want and can pay my price. Now, I got to go find those 100 people. And how can I drum that information out? How can I drum that business? If you're living in an area, I don't know how to golf at all. But if I'm running a business and I'm thinking to myself, okay, gotcha. If I know that a large majority of people that go to this golf club, I think the Ballantine Golf Club, I think it's like $18,000 a year.
I wouldn't know.
Okay, it's $18,000.
Nice.
It's $18,000 a year just to be part of this club, and I'm sure I don't know if that's a high or low. I don't know what that is. All right, I had a couple people invite me there a couple times when I first moved to Charlotte. It's a pretty nice club. So if someone's spending, haphazardly $18,000 a year to go be part of a club to play golf, there's probably money they have to spend, to be able to get their home remodeled, to get their outdoor living space done, to get the exterior of the house painted, get the interior of the house painted, get their siding done, whatever it may be. So if we got to get in front of those people on a consistent basis, I need to actually have a strategy. All right, let's kind of go through it really quickly. Josh said branding. Right now, scale 1 to 10. All right, we talked a little bit about strategy. How confident do you guys feel like to be able to articulate your marketing strategy right now? All right, so scale 1 to 10, where are we at on this? Can you articulate your marketing strategy? Can you be able to say, this is what our marketing strategy is to hit our overall goal?
I'll ask you again. What do you think ours?
Probably 7. I think that the how sometimes we switch on the how sometimes. Sometimes it's through ads. Sometimes it's through, we're going to be posting on a consistent basis. I mean, straight up, this is part of our marketing strategy itself, being here on CGTV. Also to be in front of, people at different trade shows and stuff like that as well. We're looking to kind of get into more of that, build strategic partnerships with people. We get a lot of referrals as well. So
About type of content as a marketing strategy.
yeah, it is part.
I mean, like content creation is a marketing strategy, but the type of content I'm talking about, are you educating I was about to say the industry, but are you educating the homeowners? Are you educating the people that are looking for this service, making the decision for them as easy as possible?
And let me expand on that for a second. Depending on my mission can sometimes affect the content that I'm looking to produce. If my mission is simply, hey, I want to only attract 40 people because my intent is to be able to sell half of them on that, but I know that in order for those 40 people to really, I can maybe add to that, they got to be educated on me. So I'm producing content that's going to educate them on me.
True. So like the 100 people we're gathering contact information, right? And they want to be a service area, have disposable income and looking for services. But the situation that you just said about 40, it's like, okay, we need to add another element to that, which is they need to be educated in knowing who I am and knowing, the service, the type, a little more detail on this type of services that I offer.
Exactly. There needs to be like, if I don't have educational content on my website, or I don't have educational content on my social media, or if I don't have educational content in my YouTube, and I'm driving people back there, right? So I don't have like this vat of people that I'm able to consistently, educate, then I'm probably going to have a higher overall number, right? But if I educate more people, then I could probably reduce that number, because now if my mission is, because some people don't have the want or the capacity to funnel through 100 people to get 20. Some people right now don't have the capacity to funnel through 500 people to get 20. So, but the funneling has to happen. It's either going to happen with your marketing, it's going to happen with your sales, but it has to happen. Now, CGN, we're very focused on letting a lot of this funneling happen with your marketing. So the marketing does a lot of that funneling for you, but it's got to happen in some place, some way, right? So depending on what capacity, what structure I have is going to oftentimes indicate what type of strategy I need to have on the back end.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think that's good. So, and we talked about this, but having a plan so you can, and having kind of smart goals around it so you can measure it, and then that way you can see, okay, what's working and where's some improvement. So we know that kind of the metrics behind this needs to be in place so you can actually judge it against something, or have at least establish a baseline so okay, I'm going to change this variable. I'm going to, get all my trucks wrapped instead of just one, and see how that affects the kind of the flow of getting 100 people to attract. Something like that to be able to measure against so we can make adjustments.
And if you establish this information now, what's able to happen is when this busy season happens, you can stay true to that strategy and then be able to pivot and say, okay, gotcha, these things, this is enough and is accomplishing my overall mission, or I need to do more, or I need to pivot and do something else. All right. So when it comes to your mission, I'm going to kind of leave it up to you to make your own mission, because it's going to be very similar for many people. But when it comes to your actual strategy, there's probably 5 things you want to make sure that you actually have in your strategy. All right. Now, these 5 things are not everything you need to have. All right. So there's other parts of your strategy that you should have that are unique to you. If you are a nice, bubbly person, it probably makes sense for you to probably make more videos and do things like that too. Even if you're not bubbly, you should still be producing content, but you can lean into that idea of you being a bubbly person, right? If I can network with more people at BNIs. I can go to the local Home Depot and have a conversation to make sense here, or go to real estate agents and have those conversations as well. But I need to be thinking to myself, like, how can I do that? So first things first is you control what you can control, and you put your information on social media. All right. So you need to have part of your strategy needs to be part of social media. All right. Because so many people are on the social media platform. It is free for you at this moment. So you need to be on social media. Now, I heavily push Facebook. Do other social medias work? Yes, they do, right? Instagram works. But you got to do it a certain way, but it works, right? But I've seen it work, right? Shout out to Matt Heiner where it works for himself. I know TikTok works. Shout out to, Scott Bates where they've got, 640,000 TikTok, whatever it may be. But I will almost always push people to Facebook because that is the platform most oftentimes where your ideal client is. All right, but you need to have a social media presence, and it needs to not be sporadic. It needs to be consistent. So part of your strategy needs to be having consistent presence on social media. Number 2 is you've got to produce great quality work and leverage your past customers. Your past customers need to be a referral source, an opportunity for repeat business. You need to leverage those past customers. All right, so leverage those past customers is sometimes going to be getting reviews, right? So they can be able to express the type of experience that they had working with you so that people get to see it as well. So you need to be leveraging past customers. So social media presence, leveraging past customers. Number 3 is you need to be aligned with influencers. All right, you need to be aligned with influencers in your area. That may be a BNI group. That may be real estate agents. That may be people in the HOA. That may be property managers. That may be, for us, sometimes it's Tom Reber. Sometimes it's, other business coaches. Sometimes it's, it's Nice Job. It's Job Trend. It's Remodeler's Advantage. All these other people out there that we have relationships with. You need to have influencers in your area that are able to refer you out and be those eyes and ears for you when you necessarily, and sometimes your mouth when you necessarily can't be that for yourself.
Do you want the ninja one that you missed out on? PTA moms. If you can figure out who the head of the PTA, because she's gonna know all the other moms, and as we know, women are the primary ones who make that decision or like what they want.
So what Mike said was talk about PTA moms, but yes, I 100% love that. I think that just like thinking in that mindset of who can actually influence this information for us. So, I want to do that as well. So you have influencers. Part of influence is also utilizing your past customers, sometimes with those, as well. But you want to have influencers in your area. All right. Number 4 is you have to do something when it comes to SEO. Because people are searching online, so you have to be doing something. Majority of people are doing something, and it's smaller than others, but sometimes you have to be doing something SEO-wise, right? So it may just be getting reviews. Now, do I suggest that you only get reviews? For most business models, no. You should have more of a dedicated situation where you're actually looking to, be present for certain search intent, searches. Mm-hmm. But you have to have an SEO function in your business because it's the online portion of it all, right? So if people are searching online, and people go on Facebook not to buy anything. Facebook Marketplace exists, but majority of people don't go on Facebook to actually buy something, especially not your ideal customer. All right. So where do they go online to find something to actually buy when they're searching into it? They go oftentimes on Google. So you need to also be in that platform, be in that arena. All right. And then the last one I would say is just your other. You have a very specific thing to your business that you need to hone in on, that you've got to be doing. Sometimes it is having those parties and things like that as well. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's hey, we sponsor the PTA situation. Or maybe, for us, we have a show, readily with Tom Reber and things like that too. So whatever it is, but you need to have an other. All right. Sometimes it may go back onto one of the other 4, right? It may be that amplified, but you need to have an other. You need to have something, What is it that allows for, where do you find more often times your bread and butter customer is coming from, right? So sometimes it's hey, I talked to a guy, they're out of Richmond, Virginia, and his name is Tony, and a lot of the work that he gets are from these property managers, which is great. Now, he's got to diversify because of what happens when this property manager leaves or they have a bad relationship or something like that too, and loses, 25 or 30% of his work. But he's got that other, which is important for his business, right? So you need to have a constant social media presence. You need to make sure that you are leveraging your past customers. You need to make sure that you have an SEO play. you need to make sure that you have that other as well. And I think that's like super, super important for us to actually be thinking about that and not just having, not actually having a strategy going forward.
Yeah, and that just reminded me of Jamie Rhea. So talking about content creation and actually looking at educating clients and kind of that other for him. Jamie's really great at getting in front of the camera. He produces really good like educational on-site, like, hey, here's what we're doing today. But he's good at like picking out one particular video was really good at picking out like issues that a previous contractor did. And he wasn't like blowing them up, but just saying, hey, if you see this, look out for this, look out for this, look out for this. He ended up sending that video to someone that was on the fence with the project over like 2 months. He's been working on this sale. That one video was literally the straw that broke the camel's back because he had that other aspect. He had that lever to pull from of saying, hey, I kind of thought about you in this situation because, you're dealing with something similar. Here's something that I dealt with a previous client that made me think of you. And so I just thought about you, thought this made sense. And the next day he was getting a deposit check because that was a lever that he pulled on was having that video content ready.
Does Jamie have a YouTube channel?
I don't believe he has a full YouTube video, but he's very active on Facebook Live.
I would say that, this is just kind of a shout out to Jamie. Awesome dude. Leverage that stuff and put it on a YouTube channel. You don't have to necessarily know what you're going to do with it just yet. But if you're able to send someone over a YouTube video that you've kind of spent this time to information, like there's value in doing that. Right? So if he's got 4 or 5 of these videos where he's able to send information over and he finds that they're good, just put on a YouTube channel because it's going to be valuable for you.
And that's content that you have to lean on down the road.
Exactly. No. Exactly. So it frustrates me a little bit that many people, they just fail to realize that there are 3 parts to your business. You got marketing, you got sales, you got fulfillment. And most people spend all their energy, resources, time, money, whatever it may be, only on the fulfillment aspect of it all, actually producing the jobs. And I use this analogy all the time, but I say just because I know how to bake a cake does not mean I should open up a bakery. And so by that I mean this, you have to understand that there's other parts to your business as well that you have to be fulfilling on, right? And no pun intended in that situation too, but you have a 3-legged stool. And if we want to fulfill, which is absolutely great, you can't fulfill on anything if you don't first sell. If you don't first have a systematic way for you to be able to get people to give you money for your services, if you don't have ability to sell, you can't fulfill on anything. And you cannot sell anything if you first are not getting in front of those people who are looking to actually buy your services. And so everyone has some marketing going on. Regardless of if they know it or not, they've got some marketing going on, right? They got some sales going on too, right? So in the marketing standpoint, maybe they're only being, their marketing is happening only through word of mouth. But it's still marketing. People are finding out about you about this situation. Maybe it's only happening on Facebook, but it's still marketing because people are finding out about you, right? And so what we've got to do is we want to grow this thing. You've got to put yourself in a situation where you're able to not only find out what is working and why it's working and lean into those things. There's an opportunity also for it to diversify so we can be able to get that situation out there on multiple platforms. All right, so if I've got to be marketing, now I need to be able to sell. So sell oftentimes, I think Bubba did recently, Bubba put an awesome post in Common Sense Contracting talking about the follow-up portion of it all. And that's a huge part of selling that people oftentimes forget about.
And also, going back to marketing for Bubba, he is part of the BNI group, and I asked him last week, like, hey, what do you get out of that? And he's like, oh, it's great. Like, not only do I get to see what other businesses are around there, so he can be an influencer and it's like a good relationship that way, but also talking about getting in front of real estate agents, getting with HOA people, like looking at people that have that influence over your ideal clients. I'm part of an HOA where I looked at it the other day, and there's a list of preferred landscapers, preferred vendors. So getting in with those to me, I want to make, as a homeowner, that decision wants to be, I want to make that easy as possible. I want that to be easy as possible. So when I see there's a preferred list, oh, these people, they must have been vetted already. So if you're building those relationships offline, like Bubba is when he's doing the BNI group, he's getting in front of these property managers, HOA people. That is expanding a wider net for him. So he can bring these people. He can get his 100. Maybe it's only 15 that way, but he's also doing the social media. Maybe it's 20 that way. He's also doing the SEO. Maybe it's 20. So it's a holistic program, but that's his other, in my opinion, of getting out there and actually communicating with other people in the community and getting his name out there.
And think about how awesome it is in that way, where you provide an awesome service. And I'm going to use positive examples because I'm living it right now, right? I got a water feature in my backyard right now. Everybody wants a water feature. They just don't know it yet. Everybody does. When you're able just to sit by running water, I was with Megan at the beach this weekend, and I was walking on the beach and the sun was setting, and I was with Olivia and Megan, and I was just like, I would imagine it being almost impossible to be angry as you're watching the sunset and watching the waves crash and walking on the sand. It's almost impossible. I just can't imagine a scenario where I would be angry in that situation. And so everyone wants a pond. They just don't know it yet. So what you're able to do is you're able to get the information out there to more people who are able to. We all want to be that person who could be, the plug for something. Hey, I know a guy who can do X, Y, and Z. I know a guy who can take care of you in X, Y, and Z. But he's able to get that information out there to more people. So now when a real estate agent is looking to sell a house, and this house has a pond, they have someone that can be, hey, don't worry about this. Mm-hmm. They'll be able to take care of you in this situation. Or, hey, someone is looking to have their backyard done. Oh, hey, I know a guy. I'm not sure if he does all this patio stuff, but I know a guy who'll be able to help you out. So Bubba's doing a really good job of understanding that the purpose of marketing is to be known. The purpose of social media is not to be liked, but is to be known. And he understands that. And he's doing everything in his power to consistently get himself out there to be known. So shout out to everybody out there who's doing those things to be known. Shout out to everybody out there who's listening to this right now. I want you to do me this favor. You don't have to put it online if you don't want to. It's not going to affect me at all. I would love for you to DM me this, so that if you feel like you need to have some eyes or accountability on it, but I want you to write out what is your marketing mission. All right, I would love for you to put it inside Common Sense Contracting. No matter if this is live, if this is replay, if you're watching this in 4 months from now, watching this today, it doesn't matter. But I would love for you to actually articulate and write out what your marketing mission is in Common Sense Contracting and actually put it out there, because you now have put it out there in the world, and now it becomes something, okay, now it's real for us now. Now I got to find a strategy to actually accomplish that goal. Because when you're frantic and wondering, oh, what's happening right now? I need more leads, or I need this X, Y, and Z. You're able to look back to your actual mission and saying, hey, am I accomplishing this mission? Or do I need to redefine my mission? Because my situation is different. Maybe that 100 needs to be 200. Because maybe at my sales, maybe I thought I was really good at sales, but what was happening was I was getting a lot of referrals. And because I was getting a lot of referrals, I realized that I have to grow as a salesperson to make it easier for me to sell. So I actually need 200 people, not just 100 people. Or maybe, hey, I built this connection with people and this pipeline and this strategy where I don't need 100, I need 50. And I can spend that time that I was going to be getting to get the other 100 to really take care of these other 50 so that I have a higher close percentage. And also those other people who don't go forward, I'm able to nurture them so that next year they can flow into my next strategy as well. But we've got to have something. So do me a favor. Inside Common Sense Contracting, write your marketing mission. You got anything else, brother?
That's all I got. Marketing mission.
Let's get it. Right now it is June 6th, which means we are, so January, February, March. So at the end of this month, we're going to be the end of Q2, going into Q3. All right. It's game time, honestly, right now. It really is game time in your business. It is time for us to, the New Year's resolutions have come and gone. At this point now, you're just kind of really operating off of the system that you've kind of built out. And you're really trying your best, like, hey, I built out these systems. Now I'm trying to be able to implement off of those and accomplish what I want to be able to get. Don't negotiate with yourself. Don't negotiate with yourself. If you decided this year was going to be your year to be great and to accomplish things you've never accomplished before, don't negotiate with yourself. Don't let it get hard and then you now change your tune on what you actually wanted to go do. Do not negotiate with yourself. Go get it. If it is possible, then you should, and you care about who you are and what you're doing and your influence in this world and the legacy you're going to leave behind, go get it. It's still really awesome for me to think about what my parents have done for me. It's really awesome still for me to think about, going in the middle of the week, being able to go on a boat at Lake Wiley with Logan and his parents when Logan's out of town.
Well, so with TJ then.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
we're friends with TJ, but realistically, we're friends with Logan.
I know, but you said Logan and then Logan's parents. Logan wasn't there. But yeah.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. But no, I'm saying, but we were with Logan's parents while Logan was out of town. And Logan's parents are not from Charlotte. But they were able to go and like that's a legacy they're able to leave behind. I say, hey, I walk up to Steve and say, Steve, teach me something. And it's like, oh yeah, let's just drive this boat. So we're just hanging out and having a good time. Right? So like be cognizant of how your actions affect this world, affect the people around you. Be cognizant of that. The things that I do every single day, I realize that the environment that I put Olivia in is going to change who she is as a person, what she's able to see. I have a huge passion for traveling. The reason why is because I think that it's necessity for Americans. Because you can travel from New York to LA, never change currency, never change language, maybe even worse, never change perspective. And you have this sometimes tunnel vision of what you think life is. But when you're able to expose yourself to more things, you're able to be open-minded to more things. You realize you're grateful for the things you should be grateful for. You realize we're all the same, and the only thing that separates us is some of the nurture that's out there, right? So if I grew up in Greg's household and doing Greg's things, I probably would have grown up and be Greg. But so it's so important for us to not think we don't have a redo button. We got one quarter in the machine. And you might as well freaking play the game to the best of your ability. Don't negotiate with yourself. Make this year your year and have a good night. See you guys.